Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to all present today. Welcome to the fifth round of the English debate competition InterVarsity Science e-Debate Challenge 2021. The motion for this debate is this House regret the privacy enhancing technology, or known as PET, and its impact to privacy. I will be the chairperson and the timekeeper for room 3. Let me now introduce the debaters to you. Acting as the government team for this debate is the team from UTHM A Kenny as the Prime Minister, Shashwini as the Deputy Prime Minister, Susila as the Government Whip. Acting as the opposition team for this debate is a team from KUPTM with Muhammad HASAN as the opposition leader, Muhammad Isec as the second opposition speaker, VRAULYNDEAR as the opposition whip. Our panel of adjudicators consists of Mr. Patrick Xiao William, Mr. Tirutanigash, son of Shunmugam, Miss Audrey Kang Yanti, Mr. Muhammad Nur Amir bin Abdul Rahman. Now, we've come to our debate today. To open the case from the government team, I call upon the Prime Minister to start the debate session. The floor is yours.
Right. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, allow me to start off this debate by giving off my introduction. It is uncertain whether PATs have been successful in protecting privacy or data security standards, because in many ways, the security of personal data has never been more insecure. Therefore, with high-profile data breaches dominating the news. So, what are the PATs? What are PATs? How does it impact, and how does it impact towards the privacy of the populace? So, firstly, I would like to define the motion in hand. We define PATs as the term is to technology or approaches that can help mitigate privacy and security risk. PATs include encryption techniques such as format preserving and homomorphic encryption, cryptographic protocols such as safe multi-party computation, and secret sharing, differential privacy and obfuscation techniques, and various anonymization of pseudonymization techniques. And we define impacts toward privacy as the impact that can be viewed upon when the users are willingly giving their data to PATs to the extent where their personal data, such as their bank accounts, would be leaked to public or to even the private sectors that will be abusing or that will be taking advantage of. So what is our stance? What is the stance of our debate today? The privacy enhancing technology has, our stand is that the privacy enhancing technology has existed for so long, and we still see that there is no solution that can yet fully protect the breach of populist information. So that is why we are so against PATs, because we don't see because we don't see where PATs can actually manage and PATs can actually protect your data. And so many people are relying on it, and so many people are giving away their information just like that. So we don't think that by using PATs to protect your information would be the safest choice. So in my first point, I will be talking about why PAT is a threat towards privacy. And the second thing that I will be talking about is that I'll be focusing more on the money aspect-wise on why PAT is energy consuming, time consuming, as well as money consuming. So going on to my first point, which is one of my first substances, which is PAT is a threat towards privacy. How? As privacy enhancing technology, we call it PATs, is technology that are designed to extract data value. Okay, it is used to maximize the data security, but at the same time, the tools that we use are designed to enable data value extraction. Therefore, in order to unleash it to the public, in order to commercialize this, they are being used. They are being used in a way where it ensures compliance to regulatory standards. But despite that, despite all the promises, or despite all the demands, all the sweet sugar coating that has been provided by this industry, we see that pets have a number of downsides, and which we see are less evident than the others. And one of the most common critiques of pets is that they are complicated and difficult to use. Therefore, it would eventually result in errors that can threaten individual privacy and security. And yeah, and going on to my second substantive, which I will be talking about the money aspect. Okay, so it is money wise. We know that in order to run this type of program, in order to run this type of technology, a lot of money will be used. Why? Because it you require a large amount of computer power first that have many market players lack, and it can also be energy consuming, as I mentioned just now. We are using computer power, and this computer power require a lot of money in order to be generated. And because of this combination of usability and accessibility issues that we are facing, this technology, they might and eventually give like a false impression of safety or security that isn't always going to be borne out in practice. Pets, they will be incentivize further data collection and sharing by providing more false promises, thereby this compromising key data protection concept is definitely not worth the risk. So at the end of the day, our side is going to focus more on how pets is so expensive and resource intensive, which makes it hard to implement it for public use. Which makes it hard for people to actually utilize this technology. We consider that there's a lot of benefit out there. There's a lot of usability. There's a lot of pets does protect your data, but to what extent? And that extent is where our side
It seems like we have connectivity issues. Are you back?
okay. All right. With that, I'm glad to.
All right, thank you for that speech. To open the case from the opposition team, I call upon the leader of opposition to continue the debate session.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening to our honorable adjudicators, Speaker of the House, Member of the Government, my allies from opposition side, and to all ladies and gentlemen that present here today. As the first speaker of opposition side, let me to cross-check the stand and argument that have been made by the government in this house, Mr. Speaker. We start with the definition the stand that they brought into the house today. So basically, they said that pet has been so long pet has been with us so long, but there are so many cases of hacking, cybersecurity, and anything like that. So I can say here, when the security is tight, the hackers or the hack will be evolved into a new standard, will be evolved into a new level where it will try to breach the security that have been heightened, and in the end of the day, so he can steal the information. But in the end of the day, the pet also evolved to make sure the cybersecurity or the hack itself is not relevant or prevalent anymore, because they need to guard the information and the data. So if the hackers evolve, the pets also evolve to mitigate the risk of hackers itself. The second question I want to ask to the government today, if they regret the use of pets and its impact towards privacy, what the alternative of maintaining the privacy of data that we have? Do we have anything that can fill the pets role and its impact on the privacy towards the individual, business, and everyone? So let's take a look on the first argument of the Prime Minister, where today he said about one of the pets downside because it is complicated, it is not easy to use. So Mr. Speaker, I can say that this is totally logical, because if you don't want someone to easily steal your security data, easily steal your identity data, you must given them so complicated puzzle, like example of given them so complicated security, so they have a hard time to breach it. So I think this is not a downside, but rather it is an upside for the pets, because we can guard the data more with the more complicated system of the security. So next, he said we have the pets use expensive. The pets are expensive and resource intensive. So I think to what extent we must use pets is we must to compare between the benefit of the security, privacy security, and the money that we invest into the pets. If in the end of the day, the data breach is more higher, the data more expensive than we investing into the pets or privacy enhancing technology, I think it's a justifiable expenses. That is not this and it's not wasteful of the resource to do it. Before we move, before we as opposition today believe that pets and its impact toward privacy bringing goods and benefit toward two perspectives. Me as a first speaker will speak about the business perspective, and the second speaker will talk about the individual perspective, while our third speaker will cross-check the opposition side and deconstruct their case so the House can clearly see why today's motion should be rejected. Before moving to our first argument, yes.
Sorry, okay, yeah. Regarding your rebuttal just now, I would like to ask, to what extent can you actually ensure that you have enough resources and funding to ensure PET can be continued? Thank you.
So I think it is on the individual or business that use it, because like example WhatsApp, we all use WhatsApp and it use PET encryption, end-to-end encryption. So in the end of the day, if we use WhatsApp can guarantee our privacy, why not we just use WhatsApp to continue privacy of our chat to other people? So let's move to our first argument, benefit of PETs on business. So, Mr. Speaker, in today's world, where every transaction and data transfer are done digitally, it is important for the business to have a security that can guard the data and prevent it from leak. So, the sense of security is what the business seek for various reasons. First, to comply with data protection acts such as PDPA. Most of the country has enacted data protection law to safeguard the citizen info from being leaked. The fine and penalty is hefty for data breach, and the business should avoid it as much as possible. First, secondly, to ensure no leakage on information transfer. A business not necessarily done everything in-house. Rather, they sometimes have to outsource the work to other company. Therefore, the data transfer should be well encrypted to prevent the data loss and fallen to unauthorized people. Third, to make sure the brand of the company is well maintained, because this day, people awareness on data protection is high, and the business should maintain the trust of their customer by preventing the leak or breach of the customer's data. So, looking in this situation, where business subjected to various expectations on data privacy, PETS is really helpful in helping the business. For example, the heightened security from PETS help the business to comply with PDPA Act, thus prevent them from getting fined on hefty penalty imposed by the government. Secondly, it helps to secure data transfer from one organization to another, making it easier for both sides to maintain the privacy and security of the data transfer. Third, the customer will be more satisfied with the company performance in managing privacy of the data of the customer if the business investing on the PETS to keep the data breach away. In the end of the day, looking at the impact and benefits of PETS on business, therefore, we should not regret the use of PETS and its impact on the business and the customer's privacy. With that, I raise my case. Thank you.
Thank you to the Leader of Opposition for the speech. To continue our debate today, I call upon the Deputy Prime Minister to continue the case from their side.
A very good day to everyone. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll be starting my debate in 3, 2, 1. Okay. A very good day to the members of the floor, side opposition, side government, respected chairman, and respected educators and all. So today, as we know, we from side government, we are here to say that we regret the use of the privacy enhancing technology, which is PETS, and its impact towards privacy. Okay, before starting off to my points, I would like to throw out some rebuttals towards the opposition side in today's debate. So firstly, the opposition side, they have asked said that they have countered our proposal on saying that it is expensive due to the algorithm and so on because they need more funding to make sure that there are stronger walls and stronger forces of security and so on. But the leader of opposition has also said in his speech that as there are still cases of breaching of privacy, even if in today's technological advancement, because pets have been here for quite a long time. So even if in today's technological advancement there are still breaching of privacy that occurs. So the side leader of opposition has said because these technological advancements have occurred, we have even more high-tech hackers. So what side opposition is trying to say when we question them about the extent that to what extent you can ensure that you have enough resources and funding to make sure that PETS is secure enough to validate everybody's security. And side opposition has given an answer, but about it depends on the company that works, the individual, and also the company that protects this privacy and data. So what side opposition is trying to say is that PETS does not have an indefinite way to make sure your security and your privacy is being protected. But at the end of the day, they will just fish out more money and more money and more money as the hackers become more technologically advanced, so that they can make sure they are not already supposed to be protecting privacy system is up to date again. So we from side government, we regret it to an extent, saying that even if PETS helps in keeping your privacy safe and all, but at one extent it is not exactly what we would use. It is not exactly what side government would actually want in a security protecting data system to perform such level. So moving on to the points given by me, the Deputy Prime Minister of the government side, under the key perspective of false sense of safety and security. So in today's status quo, right, given the complexity and resource limitations, pets can also be like very difficult for law and policy makers to audit govern. Why we from side government we regret the pets is because it is a combination of usability and accessibility challenge that lacks the accountability, means the usage of technology, and create false sense of safety or security. Because we from side government, we really invest in the privacy, and we believe that privacy is something that should be protected for everyone. Pets has proven to be a platform that has not protected it in the way that it is supposed to be protected. So with these false assurances of pets, because of the false sense of safety and also security, the use of pets could actually like incentivize more data collection and sharing, further undermining the core data protection principles like data minimization. Moreover, given the lack of the common definition and standards for pets, it can be difficult to evaluate the efficacy of any given pet in a specific context. Okay, for example, there are many different types of privacy, right? In this example, I would like to take differential privacy. So, differential privacy is a technique developed in the early 2000s to leverage the power of big data while reducing the likelihood of harmful data and disclose malicious use of data by injecting mathematical noise to obscure individual identities inside. Why this differential privacy is actually aimed to preserve your privacy of individuals and group while making the database accessible for research or data analysts and whatnot. There are also like significant trade-offs, especially in terms of accuracy, fairness, explainability, and also even security robustness. So there is also evidence in techniques like differential privacy. They have shifted risk from external to internal threats to privacy and security that has actually caused like cyber crimes such as hacking and so on. So we from side government, we believe that even if like pets were to succeed with data minimization, even as we know, we understand that pets is something that will help with data minimization. But at the end of the day, we from side government regret and believe not that they do not actually result in sharing more personal data. They can legitimate activities that many would otherwise find objectionable and also concerning. Okay, so we also believe that pets, even though it has been long celebrated for its potential to mitigate privacy and security risks, the support data protection principles in some circumstances achieve a compliance with certain aspects of data protection and privacy. So with that, we believe like even if like what my first speaker has said in his speech, even in practice, pets are complex, expensive, and resource intensive. So making them in the first place is even harder to implement, and it has more prone to usage error. So even if it has its specific benefits, the use of pets in further can actually consolidate power and control in the hands of those who already have too much of both power and also control. So in the final analysis, we from side government, what we believe is that pets are just like technological tools and methods, and rarely is the answer the challenges posed by technology and more technology. So with that, we believe that there is no question pets can be useful in reducing some risks associated with legitimate use of data. But if we are not careful, and if there is an over-reliance of pets, risk of making privacy the handmaiden of surveillance and technological overreach is very much likely. So we from side government strongly believe that we regret privacy enhancing technologies because it might bring a bigger impact towards privacy as a whole. So with that, I have never been prouder to propose. Thank you.
Thank you for such wonderful remarks. Now, I'll call upon the Deputy Leader of Opposition to continue the case from their side.
Test, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, Government, Opposition, and the rest members of the House. So welcome to this debate session. So as for our motion today, is this house regret the privacy enhancing technology PET and its impacts towards the privacy. So as mentioned by the Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen. So before I'm going further to provide 2 extra points for our opposition team, which is to strengthen our case more. So let me clarify and give explanation what are the some big mistakes happens from their side. So from the beginning until the end, from the Prime Minister until Deputy Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, they have been providing us just a big claim and assumption towards the inefficiency in terms of the pet itself, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, maybe you can say that everything in this world have nothing is perfect in this world, ladies and gentlemen. But at least in your case, in your analysis issues, you could at least provide to us regarding the big issues or maybe the big mistake that happened due to the pets matters, ladies and gentlemen. You could provide us some of big cases that happen in the country or even the individual itself. But in today's debate, you are just providing us some of your maybe your personal opinion and that
Here, Isaac.
never attaching us regarding any evidence to prove your point or to strengthen your case. That is the first major mistake that happened from their side. And then the second mistake that happened from their side is that they are giving their opinion, they are reasoning and all, but they are never providing us what is the best solution or the best mechanism that better than pets. If you are saying that pets is not good, that pet is not effective, what is your solution in protecting our data? Because in our today's era, we couldn't deny. Yes, maybe pet have some personal data, but what about the successful? What about the effectiveness that has been done, as mentioned by our Prime Minister, our opposition leader today? Is that a fact that you want to neglect in this debate? You should clarify. You should portraying us what are the big major mistakes that happen from pet comparing to the successful. Then this house totally regret regarding the use of privacy enhancing technology, which is pet, ladies and gentlemen. And then the fourth one, and then the third one, ladies and gentlemen, whereby they are still saying that we using pet, there are still a lot of data will breaches and they are still have a data that will be leaked and etc. But you need to realize the precaution, the prevention, or maybe some of the mechanism that to prevent from the things from occur before using pet versus not using pet at all. What are the which are more worse in protecting data? Because even if we are regretting and not using pet in protecting our data, what are the worst cases that will affecting to us, not just individually? What about the business, as mentioned by our opposition leader? What about the nation that use pet to protecting their data? So if we are not utilize that pet at all, how all of this data have been protected? Also false and also never mentioned by them, ladies and gentlemen. And then you just simply throwing your points from the Deputy Prime Minister regarding the false sense of security. I think you just read the blog whereby we can see that you just read through your laptop, but you never providing us a clear picture. What kind of false sense of security that you want to talk about? Because in your points and your argument, you never clarify to us what are the actual cases that happen regarding a false sense of security. Because in our side, we are still looking that pet is keep on involving in protecting pupils and any data that happens. For example, in WhatsApp we have a data encrypted Gmail, it's social media, and all have been involved in protecting data. But you just simply throwing a false sense of security, but without proving to us what kind of big cases that happen from your side in to show that you really regret regarding the use of pet. And then I've done rebuttal. Let's see what are the second points that have been that will be brought by our side, ladies and gentlemen, regarding the individual. So generally, we know pet is not it can be protects anybody's data from being misused or maybe leaked or being leaked by any identity, ladies and gentlemen. Such example, in today's we have seen the pet have been involved in terms of security, whereby we have the double authentication, as can be known as 2FA. When you want to access or to log in on our email, there's a lot of prevention mechanism that has been taken by PET, ladies and gentlemen, because we need to realize in our nowadays era, in our modernization, in our daily life, we will fully utilize our phone as to keep our personal data. Hence, it can be accessed easily from anybody. So that's why PET is the best prevention way to avoid from data for you from being breaches, ladies and gentlemen. Such example, the second example, WhatsApp, we have the data encrypt whereby all the data provided by the senders are encrypted and will be sent to the cloud along with the key of recipient, and the recipient will be able to decrypt the data using the key provided by the sender. So if this is simply, we could say that even the conversation also wouldn't be breached into anyone, then this is the personal data that have been protected through the PET mechanism, ladies and gentlemen. And then we also, in terms of banking, whereby we have the PIDM, can be known as the Perpadanan Insurance Deposit Malaysia, whereby PIDM is a statutory body that provides protection against the loss of deposit and insurance or takaful benefit its member institution in the event of a failure, ladies and gentlemen. So this is regarding in the individual. So as for the nationwide, you need to know that PET not only fully functioning for the individual, but it also fully can be functioning and effective towards the nation, to the nationwide as a whole. Because by using PET, it is very useful and effective for all the countries to protect by manage to controlling their data for not being breaches or released to any other countries. As example, supported by the European Commission, whereby the country like China, the one of the biggest country in the world, who have a lot of data, but they successfully managed to control it by using PET. So this is clearly shows that even though, yes, maybe you can say that there are some of the hacking methods or issues that will be occur, but how many of it compared to the successful one? Because towards the individual, towards a business, towards a nation, that have been proven by our opposition case, clearly and obviously shows the motion for today's show before. With that, I raise my case. Thank you.
Thank you for the speech, Mr. Deputy Leader of Opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us to listen to the government weak to rebut. The floor is yours.
Hello. Can everyone
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
All right. Wait on. Okay, I'll start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, good day, everyone. I, as the whip from the government side, would like to rebuttal the second. No, I mean for the opposition side. Okay, firstly, I would like to say that the first speaker from the opposition side, from what I have heard, he agreed with us government when he said yes, pet is expensive. And then secondly, the second speaker from the opposition side said that it is useful, pet is useful for all the countries, and he also agreed that there will be hacking methods in pets. Okay, so let me make things clear, as well as have been mentioned by the second speaker from the government side, is that pets are complex, expensive, and resource intensive, and it is making them hard to implement and prone to user error. And despite the benefits, the use of pets can further consolidate power and control in the hands of those who already have too much of both. Typically, those with the resources to exploit them. Pets can also create a false sense of safety and security, and thereby incentives and legitimate activities or practices that we might otherwise find objectionable. As for the result, they can help perpetuate the status quo and prevent more sweeping reforms or changes to business as usual by reducing the urgency to act. Okay, so now I am going to talk about the data breach and privacy leaks are just big enough of a problem that is issues. For example, Adobe on October 2013, and it impact almost 153 million of users records. Second one, for example, is this is all about the data breach. Okay, so the second one is adult friend finder on October 2016, which impact quite large amount, which is 412.2 million of account. Next is the Canva, the one that everybody been using now, which is on May 2019. Next is eBay, also in May, but in the different years, which is in 2014, and many more like Dubsmash, Equifax, Heartland Payment System, and also LinkedIn. The data breaches in major companies that occurred. Also, WhatsApp also has um WhatsApp also has occurred data breach. So when the second speaker said that this part is useful for all the countries, which means we cannot only focus for the business in terms of business, which means this is mean it is for everyone. So I can say that when it comes to everyone and useful for all the countries, for everyone, we have to still consider about money, where this pet is expensive. So somehow, other than expensive, it is more method about the privacy and security method. Next, we also define that the first speaker from the government side, our side, defined that PAT through the term is typically used to refer technologies or approaches that can help mitigate privacy and security risks. It will include encryption techniques such as format preserving and homomorphic encryption, cryptographic protocols such as safe multi-party computation and secret sharing, differential privacy and obfuscation techniques, and various anonymization or pseudonymization techniques. All of these tools or methods can help to achieve compliance with privacy or data protection legalization or requirements, often in combination with organizational measures, including information security related to policies and procedures, and personally management and access controls, record keeping and audits, among others. And the impact toward privacy is that it can be viewed upon when the users are willingly give their data to pets, to the extent where personal data such as bank account would be leaked, which we do not want to happen and is very dangerous. What do you think if your account bank has been leaked or your privacy has been breached? Would you want your money to just disappear like that, poof away? Of course not. So with that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you to the government whip for the remarks. It is now time to listen to rebuttals of the opposition whip. The floor is yours.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I prefer my POI verbal, and I will start my speech in three, two, one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you, Mr. Chairperson. So today I would like to directly confronting the whip of the government. And first thing first, that she told us that oh, you from the opposition are agrees that pets are cost consuming. Yes, miss, we are agree that pets are cost consuming. We do agree, but we never neglect the importance of pets in terms of data collection minimization. Even though we believe that it is cost consuming, but we still believe that it can minimize data collected. While you keep blabbering about how to protect data, but you choose to throw away pets because it's only expensive without considering about how pet can help in minimizing data. Just because pets is expensive, so we are regretting pets because we can't afford them. And then how about your mission to minimizing the data? How can you achieve that? You never told the whole about how are you suggesting to protect the safety and the security of data. And next, moving on to the Deputy Prime Minister, in which he told us about they want to protect the safety and security of the data, where in which case they believe that there are some small technical issue with pets which lead to leakage of data because pets only give false sense of security. And he keeps and she keeps telling us about the problem and in what terms of pets are lacking of. All you said is the pets problem, what pets lack of, etc., etc. But you never suggest if we regret pets, how can we protect the data? Because you yourself want to discuss about we want to protect the data, but in this case, we are suggesting that pets are can we can use pets to protect the data. So our ground footing for both sides is to protect data. So as opposition, we're not regretting pets because we believe pets can minimize that cyber attacks such as data breach. While your side never said why are you regretting the pets. You only said about pets weakness, and pets weakness only. But you never show what's the significance of the weakness towards the pet system until we can tell that pets cannot minimize the data collected. In this case, if you want to show us, you should show how this weakness in the end of the day will lead to more and more
POI.
data collected, because in which case you yourself in your definition by the prime minister he already says that pets can help to minimize data, in which case that's
POI.
why we are regretting it, but you are regretting it because it is only because just because it is a problem, so we should regret it, we should neglect the importance of the pets. So before moving on to the
POI.
prime minister, yes, you may.
Uh, Sorry. I just want to say that we did not say we neglect the data, but we are elaborating more about the weakness. That's all. Thank you.
So if you are not neglecting the data protection, so why aren't you suggesting a new way to protect the data? Because in this case, we are talking about how to protect data, and in your case, you are suggesting that we should not use pet because we are regretting pets in terms of data protection. While us, we are not regretting pets to help to minimize the data collected. So continue with the rebuttals of the prime minister, in which in first case, the ground he said in his definition, the ground concern of the regret is because pet exists for so long but still got problem. Ladies and gentlemen, we should know that hacking system does evolving. And so does the technology. Even if there are problems, you can never deny that the pets can solve major cyber problems. As you yourself state on your definition, which is you said that pets can help to minimize data collected. So you never deny that pets can solve this problem, in which we should believe too that the pets are gradually working on to keep our data tightly as much as the hacking problems exist. Also, there are also the gradually evolving to tighten the security system of the pets too. They work parallelly with the problem. If the problem increases, the technology also upgraded to solve the problem. So in this case, we believe that the your statement about exist for so long but still got problem can be think logically, because if you think logically everything is not perfect, so at least we can try to help to minimize the data collected. So with that, we believe that pets can help to minimize the data collection. And next thing is you talk about money wise, it is cost a lot and it is energy consuming. When it is energy consuming, it costs a lot to pay for the power. I think in this case, cost is not a problem because a lot of company has implemented the double authentication factor, which is the double authentication factor. We can get it from the pets because why?
Yeah, Isaac.
The demand no thank you the demand from the user of the apps for their data safety. So to keep on customer satisfaction, this company will use pet, which is the double authentication factor. So do they think it will cause burdening? No, because as long as they cater customer satisfaction, customer will stay to continue to use their service, and they're still the demand and supply still working on, and then in the end of the day, cost consuming to afford pets won't be a problem to this company. So I bring proof again. For an example, if you search double authentication factor, it's not just about WhatsApp. IG also, Instagram also got to, Facebook also got to, Google also got to. Almost everything use double authentication factor now, and it is pet. So I think this cost consumer is not a problem. And to sum up the cases, we from the government opposition side have already talked about how pets help business, in which in this case three subjective expectation towards the pets, which is to comply Data Protection Act. Second, to maintain data transfer between organizations, secret and encrypted. And third, to maintain brand of the company. Thus, this expectation show why pet is important for business. And next, we are talking to you guys about individual data, in which case the data are safer as we use a lot of social media, and daily transaction is also protected by the PIDM, and the social media are protected by the double authentication factor. And for a country, the country's top private and confidential secret can be kept safe using this pets. So hence why we are saying pets are important. We are not regretting pets because the importance of pets toward these businesses, individual and the country itself. So with that, RS Marquez, thank you.
Thank you to the speaker for the remarks. Now that we heard all the three speakers from both teams, we shall take a short break of 1 minute. During this time, both the government and the opposition team will prepare the reply speech. The time of 1 minute has ended. I shall now invite the opposition leader for the opposition team to deliver the reply speech. The floor is yours.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Speaker of the House, in the end of this debate session, we met with so many questions without answers after the government presentation. Let's take a look one by one. So firstly, they talk about their regret of the pets because the pets has so many weaknesses, has so many problems that we don't want to sacrifice our data privacy. We don't want to sacrifice our data protection because pets are not good enough in safeguarding this data. However, when we ask if you totally regret about this thing, about when you said about pets has so many weaknesses, what is the alternative in maintaining the privacy of the data? And until now, there are no concrete answer from the government on how we want to achieve the maintenance of the privacy of the data, because they only say the weakness of the pets, the weakness of the pets, the weakness of the pet. But in the end of the day, the impacts toward privacy, they not measure it correctly. That's the first thing. Secondly, we take a look at their argument. Their argument, firstly, they say about why we should lose money when we can just give our data protection away. Because in the end of the day, they said about how pets is so expensive, how pet is resource intensive and everything. So the moral that they want to brought here, like, oh, it's okay if you lose your data, it's okay, but we don't want to invest money in the data protection. Because when they brought in about the hacking, for example, the cases from 2014, 2011, 2010, I have been wondering why there are no latest cases that they have been brought to the house. So we can safely assume that actually the pets have been evolved and successfully mitigate this case of breach, because all the breach we have been heard 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and right now the pets have been good enough for us, and it is a waste, and it is not a waste of money if we want to invest in them. Next, they also say too much about false sense of security. So I want to ask, please elaborate more. What is the false sense of security? Is the pets is only a toy pet, or something like you can toy it every time by just using coding or something? You didn't tell us how it is a false sense of security, because in the end of the day, you say the customer, in the increasing awareness, giving their data freely to the business or data holder with a pet. So does that mean is the customer really believe the pet's quality in maintaining their data privacy? So in the end of the day, is this false sense of security is really exist, or you just make it one up just to make sure you have the argument in this house? And let's take a look to our opposition today. We take a look on the three perspectives. First, about the business. We talk about to you, we have the business have three obligations: the data protection law, the information transfer between organization, and the maintaining brand of the company. In the end of the day, with the pets, business can fulfill these three. They can fulfill the data protection law, they can encrypt the information transfer, and they can maintain the brand of the company as a company that successfully manage their customers' data well. On the individual, we give you examples about how pets helping the individual. For example, in your social media, you can use two-factor authentication. You can encrypt your chat in WhatsApp, and in the banking, your banking data and everything has been guarded by PIDM, for example. And in the nationwide, we can say the country also use pets in safeguarding their data. China, for example, and in the end of the day, actually pets are good, and its impact on the privacy should not be underestimated. I hope the motion rejected.
Thank you to the opposition leader for the speech. Now, I'd like to call upon the Prime Minister from the government team to deliver their reply speech.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I go into my reply speeches, let's catch up with what has been happening in today's debate. So, we have two sides. The first side, the government side, who wants to protect the data, who wants to protect the information of the populace, who wants to ensure that this information doesn't fall into the wrong hands. We have mentioned all the perpetuation that will happen once pets take over your information, once pets take over your data. But on the other hand, on the other side of the coin, you have side opposition who says that, oh, it's okay if all these data is being accessed, it's okay that if all these data are being used or are being monopoly by this big corporation, because at the end of the day, what we are giving the people is a protection. But in our case, we see that this protection is just a mere lie that only feeds off, that are being feeds off by the people because they don't have any source of information. They don't know what is going on with this corporation. They don't know what is going on with with the information that that these big corporations are taking from them. So, as mentioned by my first speaker and the first speaker and the second speaker, we have emphasized how money plays a big role into this pets. How does pets sustain itself in the first place? As I've mentioned, to operate pets, you need a lot of money. You need a lot of energy and computational energy in order to ensure that this thing goes smoothly. All right, so there's a lot of money involved, but how are you getting the money? That is the question in the first place that side opposition failed to answer. This money is obtained through in numerous ways, but one of the most we think is the most dangerous way is where they are taking this data, they taking this data and they're selling off to other third parties. They're selling off to individual. They're selling off to other parties. For example, we have commercialized industry. They're selling off to them because they wanted to make money for themselves in order to sustain this program. Sure, we understand that in order to sustain, that's what you have to do. But at the end of the day, this data will fall into the wrong hand. We think that this data should be, the people should know what is happening, what is going on, and therefore, if the people did not give you any concern, if it's not being referred to the owner of the data themselves, we don't think that this corporation should be allowed to abuse with the information that they gathered from pets. Okay, so let me tell you why our side wins the debate in today's motion. So at the end of the day, our side who are willing to do the most, extreme, where hey, it's okay if we don't get buy life easier. It's okay if we have to keep retyping our password and whatsoever. It's okay if our records and history is going to be lost in a mere time, as long as we did the initiative to back up our data, as long as we did the initiative to store our data personally without other parties interjecting, we think that it is completely fine, it is completely safe, and we can ensure that the whole premise of the whole premise where this big corporation that handles this managing of data will not gain any single profit and will not put this data into the wrong hand. Therefore, what side opposition has failed to explain in today's debate is that they only mention to you about how this data are being protected by pets and whatsoever. But if you haven't know, there's a lot of other. If you haven't know, the data has been minimized by hashing, and it has been proven to be functioning, and therefore we are so proud to propose. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have come to the end of the debate. This round is a silent round, and the final verdict of this debate will be announced tomorrow. Thank you for your participation in this debate, and good luck to everyone. With that, the House of Parliament is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.